replaced part of it because Doug had some house in here, and they ate the two befores. I had to replace that one, and they ate through the wire 2 or 3 places.
Yeah, that's funny because I haven't seen these in years. This is an old Stromberg's cage.
I had one up on the hill, and I tore it down. But you get these plates and just
they sell all these plates, and it's just still some. They're like $100.
Yeah.
Or at least last I knew they were like $100
Yeah.
on plates. So these. I was reading something the other day about these Lofura, the genus of these species. That actually means crested tail. It's talking about the way the tail arches up. It's like a crest.
the head crest on these is the longest ones I've ever seen. Even the female. They're awesome birds. These are some of Kelly's birds.
Yeah, he's got some good birds on there. And you don't see these. I think they mixed up most of these collie pheasants.
Oh yeah, you don't know what you're getting.
I'm not really fluent with pheasants or a lot of these soft-tailed birds. I don't know.
You see, I would love to have some Crawford delineated, but it's like Kelly's talked about several times, finding some that are pure that are not crossed up is almost impossible. I don't get why people get this big deal out of crossing up birds. That's just not. That's not my
I don't know either.
This is going to become a bird cage one day when I figure out how to do it.
You need bamboo in between it.
Yeah. This was the legs off of the old canopy, and I screwed them all together and put a screen door in the back. I told Doug, I said, okay, I'm going to build a cage. We'll have to buy something to go in it. I don't know what's going in.
You got to get a pair of mockingbirds for inside there.
Yeah. I actually have some yellow-headed blackbirds that I'm picking up this week.
Oh, really?
Okay, I'm going to have to go down to the other end, and you guys are going to have to stand here to even see these. These are the sunbird ones.
Oh, I've been waiting to see these things. Oh, there they are.
I want them to get their wings out, because otherwise they're not pretty. Unbelievable. That bird's so plain until he flies.
So what do you feed those sunbearers?
They're the most expensive bird on the property to feed. They get a dozen fish a day, and then they get meat and crickets. But they really, their preference is fish.
So they won't eat a prepared feed.
I put it in there, but I don't. It's usually just thrown out on the ground. They don't mess with it. And with it, what you can do is you can take, and I do this for prepared feed, you can take like the hamburger meat, and I make little balls like this, and mix it all in like you're making a meatloaf or something, and then make the meat into a little ball and put it in there. They eat it that way. But their preference is fish. Put goldfish in the fish pond, little goldfish.
Yeah.
Well, that lasted about 35 minutes.
Oh,
They ate all of them.
So, are you producing the sunbirds?
This will be the first year they should be viable. They were last year's babies, year before. So they'll be 2 years old, so hopefully this year.
So what are you going to have for nesting?
They nest, you put about waist high on a post, put just a basket or something. And that's because they're not really arboreal, they don't get a lot high. But the Jen at the zoo told me to do about waist high.
Are they colonial nest or are they just single territorial?
Yeah.
So on all these pigeon species, most of them are more of a colonial type nester? Or?
Yeah.
Are there any pigeons that you got to keep separated from anything else?
Well, now some of the pigeons, it's okay to keep them when they're not breeding, of course, together, but then you got to pull them apart. I was trying to think of a species I had to keep completely by themselves. Well, the olive pigeons are not going to breed for me, they don't breed in a colony. It's got to be a pair by themselves. Well, I mean, they're in there with other pigeons, but there's only 2 olive pigeons in there.
So they'll start fighting with it.
Yeah, so they're by themselves. Of course, like with the Nicobar's, you have to have colony to have any. I mean, some people breed them single pairs, but it's not easy. But in this aviary we're going to go in next with all those doves in there, there's piles of pairs in there, and they just breed fine in there. most of the ones that I've got pulled out that's just a pair together is probably because I only have a pair.
So all these, I mean, obviously the wild pigeons are a little bit different than the domestic pigeons as far as the management techniques and stuff like that. Like, you know, with these domestic pigeons, it seems like the keepers are always treating them, you know, with, you know, for trichomoniasis. Yeah. What do you experience with the wild pigeons? The same type of thing, or
no?
Or they just come out and they're dead if they're going to die?
I've had very, very few problems with any of the wild pigeons from any kind of diseases or any kind of parasites or anything like that. I mean, you lose some occasionally, but it's just they just died. Stress is the big thing with them if you have to move them or something. I mean, last weekend I took a male lace neck to a friend of mine, and he got it out and put it in his hand, was going to put it in the aviary, which he had to walk, you know, a good distance to get there. Well, the bird was dead before he ever got to the aviary because it's stressed out. You just can't handle them. They don't like to be touched. But other than that, I mean, no, I've never had a problem with parasites, or so far, knock on wood, no kind of disease that's coming here. But now in the past, we have had some domesticated pigeons. They catch everything. They're bad with parasites. I think they're so nasty. That might be the problem, you know. But with these wild birds and doves and pigeons, I've never really had a problem of any kind. And I always hate saying that because tomorrow I may have. You know? So. This is Doug's parakeets. Well, he's got more parakeets. I think he's got one or two of them. This is his
Those like parakeets to me.
cockatiel.
Oh, there's parakeets in there. Mostly cocktails, though.
Yeah.
These things, you know, back in the day, they were, you know, $20 a piece.
They sky high.
Yeah, you can make a living.
At the
on it.
auction last weekend, William told me that those parakeets sold for $35 a piece, and I said, $35 a piece for a parakeet is an auction.
Yeah, that was a Woolworth bird.
Yeah,
you know, for $3 or whatever.
And then a buddy of mine called me and said he bought 150 the other day and paid $6 a piece for them.
Yeah, but like these cockatiels, I think they're a couple $100 a piece.
Oh yeah, they are. If they're hand fed, they're even more.
And they're easier. Well, I say easy raise. They have that stumbling block where they don't want to wean. But
yeah, Doug says they're no problem at all.
Right there.
Glossy, that's the curve. The reason they're in these small cages is because I hadn't had them long, and I don't want to turn them out for a while. So.
They're gonna go into like this aviary here.
Yeah. See the egg?
Oh yeah. They'll lay. I think they lay a lot of eggs too, don't they?
Normally, but this is all she laid in this clutch. She's been setting now for about a week. Little Lusky, Bartlett, green wing, tambourine, zebra, diamond sparrows, red rump parakeets. What else is in there? Australian crested. There was an Australian crested.
sit here in class and
Really?
pull his pen in.
He is a nice guy.
Yeah, I've been friends with him for years. But he gets snow. Sylvan Heights gets snow up where they are.
Yeah.
And we're an hour and 20 minutes south of Sylvan Heights. Most people have gotten about 3 acres of snow.
I went up to visit my daughter last year and got stuck up there. They wasn't supposed to have snow there, 13 inches.
Yeah. That's what I said. The rest of North Carolina gets snow.
Well, yeah, we was in Black Mountain, but right outside.
Yeah. The same thing, Sylvan Heights will get that much snow too. They're an hour and 20 minutes north.